Um, my patient on room 138 B. Chi, can you please listen so you will learn? My patient on 138 B. His name is Mr. D and E. This patient is 78 years old, admitted for hyperkalemia. When this patient came to the hospital, he came from as a direct admit. He came from the doctor's office of Dr. D. And what happened is his blood pressure was 60 over 40. Blood pressure is 60 over 40, and the patient was really weak, so the doctor instructed him to go to the hospital. So when the patient came in, they did a lab draw, and they found out that this patient potassium was 7.3, BUN was 136. The patient creatinine was also really high, was critical 6.3. So what, and the HNH was low. They did a blood transfusion on this patient. So basically there's a nephrology consult because of the high potassium and the kidney failure. It is high potassium. The reason why is potassium is 7.3. The normal is 3.6 to 5.1. So you have to know which. So this patient is really weak when he came here. I remember him. I helped him to go to the bed when he came. He was really edematous, upper and lower extremities, or generalized edema. But now he looked much better. Edema was less. Patient is more alert, more oriented. Time is 4, and he has Foley catheter. Supposed to be the doctor ordered to discharge the DC the Foley catheter, but the patient refused for it to be DC. He usually works with physical therapy, he usually ambulate with physical therapy, but when he sit down on chair today, I told him it's probably better for you to lay down on bed, because when this patient sit down on chair, he said he feel dizzy. So I just told him probably it's better today to take some rest. So this patient have one large bowel movement. We sent the stool specimen for occult blood, and the result was negative, so there's no blood on the stool. This patient able to eat okay. He's on room air. Patient have IV fluids. It's normal saline with 20 of KCl at 100 cc per hour. He's also taking antibiotic. He's on vancomycin. We did a bancotrot around 6 o'clock. A random bancotrot. And the random bancotrot, actually it's not random bancotrot, it's just bancotrot. Bancotrot was 7.8, so I went ahead and give the vancomycin. So, and I called the pharmacy to let them know that the vancomycin trot was 7.8, so they adjust it. Before it was every 3 days, 1,500 milligram every 3 days, and they changed it now to 1,500 milligram every 36 hours. So the next trot will be on the 8th, September 8th, around 2100. And basically, most of the time the wife is on the bedside. He was in by Dr. M, and there's a possibility that I might be discharged maybe today or tomorrow. Okay, my other patient is room 139B. Patient is Mrs. Blank Blank. She is 53 years old, admitted for abdominal abscess. So what happened on him is he went to emergency room, and he went to the emergency room, and he have abdominal pain, and the ER sent him back. So then he came back to the hospital because of the same problem, and they repeat the CT scan, and they found out that this patient have abdominal and diverticular abscess. So they did a surgical procedure, laparoscopic drainage, open laparostomy. So they did a surgical drainage. So they opened it up, and they put a wound back on the abdomen. They also did a colectomy and colostomy. You have to write down, even you don't understand it, it's better for you, especially those things that you don't understand.
Okay, colostomy. Ano pa?
How about colectomy? Yung mga hindi mo naintindihan, you have to write it down specially. That way you can ask me. Okay. The other thing, this patient is ambulatory. The wound back was changed September 3. So wound back should be changed every 3 days. So this patient is diabetic, type 2 diabetic, and the last blood sugar around 1630 was 133. So she have a sliding scale, and I give her 2 units of Novolog. This patient have the only wound that she have right now is the abdominal wound, which she have a wound back, and I only give one pain medication. It's Vicodin, just one time around 6 p.m. Other than that, there's a discharge plan for her. She might be discharged home with wound back and home antibiotic. Right now, she have her antibiotic was Levaquin and Flagyl. Levaquin is her Levaquin was 500 milligram daily, and her Sosin antibiotic was 3.375 milligram Q 8 hours, and the Flagyl was 500 milligram Q 6 hours IV piggyback. So I'm gonna give you a report on my third patient, which is on room 140A. This patient was admitted, Mr. Blank Blank. He is 53 years old, admitted for cholecystitis and cholelithiasis. Patient of Dr. Blanco. Patient have IV fluids of D5NS with 20 of KCl at 100 cc per hour. Patient is alert oriented, ambulatory. He is using urinal on bedside. Last bowel movement was yesterday. Basically